morning, guys. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is day for you guys. Welcome back to another episode of DigiModify, a Digimon TCG mini podcast series where we talk about anything and everything Digimon related. And today we're going to be talking about mamas, and I am your host, Nerdy Steve, back at it with talking about mothers. And honestly, we're only be talking about the Mother D Reaper, on what the deck has turned into, what the deck will right now consist of, what it has been doing in the BT9 format, how does it affect the BT9 format, and what to look out for and what you do pretty much well against. But before we get into all the nitty gritty stuff, I want to ask you guys if you guys do enjoy the mini podcast series that we do go live every Tuesday and Thursdays over on this channel. Make sure to leave a like down below. It really does help us out. As well as if you guys are really enjoying the content and you want to support the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It does help out a lot. If you guys are already subscribed and want to get notified when we put up a new episode of this podcast, make sure to hit the bell notification so that you guys can get notified when we put up a new episode. So on that, we're gonna be talking about Mama's Day, we're gonna be talking about the Mother D Reaper, the deck itself, the kind of like the big elephant in the room that I think people forgot it. Either people did not think that this was a thing, or did not really care for. They thought that they were gonna be all set with the because they were playing OTK formats. Since right now we're in a bit of an OTK format, but a lot of decks can do really well in this format that don't play OTK. So the big question is why did it just win the first two events of this format and still did good at the rest of the events. Still kind of like snuck like at least one or two spots here and there from the past 4-6 big tournaments that we did like last weekend at Gen Con, as well as the weekend before it actually won that event. Why is this deck doing good, and why after it got the 2 wins, why did it not win again, or why did it got very close to winning again? So the deck in the EX2 format, I played it when it first came out. And the deck is still really, really good, but the biggest problem with the deck was you need to set up. And in the original format, you do not have any mulligans, which is fine for you since you're running 19 to 20 of your searchers, so you always have a turn 1 play no matter what. Getting to the rest of your searchers is a little bit of a hassle, but you have the deck to pull you forward for that. But the deck in the EX2 format was running a lot of, in my eyes, was a lot of bricks, but it was the necessary bricks because you had to play the tamers. You had to play, especially because we didn't have any dedicated removal for that deck. You had to play other colors with that deck, which took spots away in your main deck for something else. So the decks for D Reaper, we were split between 3 choices: the yellow side, the black side, or the red side. For the yellow side, you played cards like Spiral Masquerade. You played the TK and Kari, since you're gonna be most likely lower than your opponent in the security and you're not attacking until you're ready to attack. You're able to get the 2 memory so that you're never going to be choked. You were playing most likely either Kari, or I think that was the only actual viable yellow tamer for that deck, for like the memory setter at least. And you were running Spiral Masquerade. You were running the Tactical Retreat to at least recover your Gatekeeper or your bubbles to be able to reuse them again, and just give you that little bit of extra life each and every turn for only 1 memory cost, which did help a lot. Plus, it was a cute interaction with the Tactical Retreat and the Gatekeeper to be able to proc your Kari to get that 1 extra memory. That was really cute interaction you cannot really have with it. We're talking about the black side of Mother. You were running Izzy and Joe, which the black version of the Mother D Reaper did not see a lot of the a lot of the success as the other two did in a higher format, in like a higher placing format. Um, where you run like Ultimate Flares, you run like Iron Fist and Onslaught, you run Izzy and Joe as your dual tamers, and you run like Izzy to kind of stack the top 3 cards of your deck. But at least he was a memory tamer. On that, you really didn't play as much of the stuff. Probably a Chikurimon so that you could hit it off of the security and the Digivolve one of their guys. That kind of helped out a little bit. But besides that, you weren't really running anything for that. For the red side, which I thought it was actually one of the better, what's the better like D Reaper of what's the better D Reaper deck like of the bunch, where you were able to run a lot of removal, run cards like Takuya to sorry run cards, run the tamer Takato to be able to gain a memory whenever you delete something during your turn, so that helped out a lot. Running Hero or Tai to get the memory setting to 3 so that you have plays during your turn. Played the Crimson Blade so you can mass remove like their small board. Play cards like Gaia Force just to get a spot removal when it mattered. But on that, you still played your normal plan, but you gave up, let's say, about 10 cards in your main deck just to add removal to your deck, when you can add more blockers, add more searchers, add more of the Pilates set to be able to deal with it and be more consistent in your own deck. But in the EX2 format, it just didn't do as well. It did a lot better in like a local format where you only had to play like three or 4 rounds, and like maybe some people weren't doing as well with it, or they did not know how to play like against the deck. It did really well early on in the meta, but as the EX2 meta developed, it stopped doing well. People still respected the deck. If you did not respect the deck, you were going to absolutely get steamrolled. But the decks nowadays, the decks for the EX2 format was too fast, or just had enough gas to be able to defeat them before they got the Gatekeeper out. But then we went into BT2 to the BT9 format, and the first 2 tournaments of the BT9 format, D Reaper won. I'm guessing people were not expecting like a D Reaper to do really well, but with the inclusion of the Def Xmon and the inclusion of the option card like X Antibody, that you're able to just stick it under the Mother D Reaper, helped out a lot for the deck, giving it that 1 turn early the Gatekeeper, which honestly, instead of being a turn 6 deck, is now a turn 5 deck, which helped out a lot. Being able to push that your own momentum as forward by at least 1 or 2 turns meant a lot, especially when you're able to lock like your opponent out by turn 4 or 5. So that is fantastic for the deck. Now people started to move away from the tamers, and cards like the Psychmon are hardly played. Like, they're still played in purple, but purple is not as prominent as it used to be in the last format, where we had like the Mastermon every other like chance we got. Like in my locals in the last format, I probably had to face like half of the people that were there were the Mastermon players, and it was very hard to do well with the Mother D Reaper when you get locked out just from the Psychmon, especially because you cannot reduce your play cost because of the Psychmon. But now, since like purple is not doing as well in the format right now, in the BT9 format, the Psychmon just, you don't see it as often, so you don't get hurt by it as much. And a lot of decks still need turns to set up, since a lot of decks nowadays are playing OTK, trying to set up their line in the racing to be able to swing like the multiple times, or just for a really big swing. So you at least get the advantage from that, because decks now are going a little bit slower, but you still get hosed by like Imperial Dramon 100%. You can still get hosed by decks like Red Hybrid, where they just need just that big swing, and they get the second attack plus 20 and you're done. even like um decks like Blue Hybrid, even though now they're not doing as much, can still outpace you by just playing their tamers out and just going too way too fast for you to keep up. So what really changed, what has really changed about the deck is that we're no longer running tamers. That is what I've been seeing from what has been like doing really well in the past like regionals, like Ultimate Cups, a lot of bigger tournaments that now for the BT9 format like DVPR has been doing. We're now up to 19 to 20 searchers, which is a lot. Like it's two fifths of your deck. It's just getting these searchers, but that's what your whole deck is about to bring them out. Um, I've seen like a lot of people running the 19 and regret it and say that that you need the 20. It's only one card, but apparently the one card is absolutely needed. You still run the 4 Pilates, the 4 of the pendulum feet, the 4 of the bubbles. People are going back and going between 3 to 4 Jerrys. I still agree that 4 Jerrys is the way to go. You want to see that card as soon as possible to just like accelerate your like your count as fast as possible. People are still playing the creep hands. I see some people playing Horn Striker, which is the rush like the Reaper that not a lot of people use. And honestly, as long as you have like the mother a mother D Reaper in play, it gains rush, and it's a 7 drop that can easily become like a 3 or 4 drop. So it becomes more. It's comes out earlier than a Bushiagumon and can still kill like a Bushiagumon. The 7,000 gets a lot bigger because of your Mother D Reaper having the searchers underneath helps out a lot. So that I've seen a lot of people play this. I still have yet to try it out just because I don't feel comfortable adding such a high drop for no reason. Like I don't like the rush as well. It's really good. It's just I don't think it's necessary, and I'd rather play more of a control variant than having just to get that one free hit either way. People are torn between 2 to 3 of the Pilates set. The Pilates set is one of your only like removal in the deck, so you definitely gotta do it. I unfortunately made the mistake of not playing that during my regional play, and that did that cost me a lot of games. We do play 4 of the gatekeepers. You need the gatekeepers in the deck to be able to do what like really really well, and the gatekeeper is your floodgate for the entire format. As long as you get it out and they do not have an answer for it, they can outwin the game. 2 to 3 of the regular Reapers, the Big Daddy Reapers, the one that can swing a whole lot of times and has rush. And the funny thing is, like a lot of times you do not even win with Reaper. You just win by just poking your opponent out with your bubbles, with the pendulum feed, with the Jerrys at times, with the gatekeepers. If you're very very like very up ahead, you just chip at their security and you just don't really win by Reaper anymore. Like the Reaper, yes, it's great when you're able to swing 4 or 5 times in a turn. Feels fantastic, but a lot of times you don't even need to win by that. So instead of running tamers, you actually just run pure removal, and I believe this is where they get a lot of the inspiration from Japan, because in Japan, while we were in the like EX2 format, they had an Evil Cup, and one of the Evil Cups that won, the deck that won one of the like Evil Cups was the Mother D Reaper, and they were running pretty much exactly what we're running now. They ran Starmons, which on play is a 1,000 DP, three to play cost. On play, one of your like opponent's like Digimon gets minus 1,000 for every Digimon you have in play, and this is your number one answer for the Psychmons, as well as just small spot removal to get rid of any of if they try to go for a rookie rush strategy against you, and their guy lifts the security, because a lot of times your security is horrible since you run so many of the searchers, so they're able to lift the security a lot of times. You can just play Starmon. You normally have, if you just play Starmon with just a Mother D Reaper out, that's still 2,000 DP on the minus, but a lot of times you have like 3, 4 guys on the field, including the Starmon, so you're able to pop Stigmons, XVmons, any Vmons. You're able to stop cards that will just get free swings over and over again, and just get rid of the Terriermons, get rid of the Psychmons, get rid of pretty much any rookie that they leave out. You can just get rid of Starmons for just 3 memory cost. And you play this after you already did like your bubbles play, your searcher plays, so you're able to get some spot removals. And the inclusion of Def Xmon is ridiculous. Def Xmon, 20 cost, gets reduced for every like Digimon and Tamer your opponent has in play by 3. So if they have, so for each one it gets reduced by 3, so you're able to put it down for cheap. And on play, or when you digivolve, you de-digivolve their entire field, and you delete every level 4 that they have or lower on their field. So if they start to go wide with rookies, you just get rid of everything. Then at the end of your opponent's turn, once per turn, you delete their lowest play cost. So especially in the mirror, it's becomes who has the more of the Def Xmons and who plays it first. Because there will be a lot of times where if you're in the mirror and if you have if you have your second Def Xmon, they can't do anything about it, and they can't play their own, or else during the end of their turn they lose it. So it becomes very, very like oppressive, and you're able to contain their board with a Def Xmon on board, which now we pretty much just took a page from from Japan, and with the inclusion of the X antibody option being able to be put under the Mother D Reaper for free and as a free source, your other D Reapers do not care what's underneath the Mother D Reaper as long as it's a source underneath her. So the only time it matters is when the searchers are like underneath, and the Pilates set needs to check how big he is to be able to delete something. That's when you need to count the searchers. That's pretty much it. The Mother D Reaper does not care what's underneath her, as long as you just still reduce the play cost equal to the amount of this all of the sources underneath her. So you get a turn earlier for your gatekeeper plays, as well as you're able to you are able to reduce the cost by 1 more every single time that you do it, because you have a like X antibody underneath like the Mother D Reaper. So the deck still like functions really, really well, and now it does its big plays 1 turn early. Unfortunately for the regular D Reaper, it does ask you to trash the 7 or more of the sources underneath your Mother, and the X antibody says it cannot be trashed due to an effect, so you cannot trash it with Reaper. So you still need your 7 searchers underneath the Reaper to go. Your 7 searchers underneath the Mother to be able to play Reaper, but you don't really win by Reaper either way as often, so that's fine. And by that time, you're already way ahead, no matter what, so you're absolutely fine with that. So how does the deck affect the meta at the moment? I believe after seeing the first 2 wins with the Mother D Reaper, people started to realize that the deck is still a thing, and Imperial Dramon has been slowly climbing in. People have still been playing like Imperial Dramon, but I think now that the people who dropped it might have picked it back up just to counter this deck, because this deck it just auto loses to like Imperial Dramon, and Imperial Dramon just goes way too fast. Even decks like the Metal Garurumon X kind of needs to set up a little bit faster, and people now need to have some type of spot removal for the gatekeeper so they don't outright lose. The Green OTK with the Grandis has a decent matchup, especially because like Grandis is able to suspend the gatekeeper and swing over it, so that helps out a lot in that matchup. It is a little bit of a harder matchup if you do not see your lines and they start to poke at your security early. But besides that, Green LTK should have a great time against this deck. War Greymon, like being able to get the security attack +1 is able to kind of mitigate the like the Gatekeeper a little bit, as well as if they played the Metal Greymon from BT9. Sorry, if they played the Metal Greymon from I believe it's EX2, where it can attack like unsuspended like Digimon, you're able to attack over the Mother D Reaper, and that helps you out so much. Unfortunately, like Galmon is not such, it hasn't done so well as of yet. But if you play Galmon, if you play Black or Greymon, you play the regular War Greymon with the Metal Greymon, that still does a lot of work against the Mother D Reaper. So the deck has to watch out for that. But then we'll see like a rise in that deck as well. People have been doing really well when they play like Rice Greymon, the new one, since they are able to get the security attack +1 from the Rice Greymon, as well as playing the Katsuchimon, the level 6 that costs 5 to digivolve, but when you digivolve, if you have 3 or more, you're able to gain 2, or if you have less than 3, you're able to recover up to 3 for the 5 like cost. So that card's, and you get the security attack +1 if you have 3 or more in your security. Plus the Rice Greymon, the regular one, gives you the security attack +1 if you have 3 or more tamers. So that helps out a lot more to kind of stop the Gatekeeper plays as well. But and also you kind of win against the security control matchup. At least I've seen like a lot of games where the security control just gives the Mother D Reaper such a long time to do their thing, where you kind of just win that matchup pretty easily. Not easily, but you have a better matchup, and as long as you poke at their security constantly and don't let them get too far ahead, like the Mother D Reaper is able to do a lot of work. But you kind of need the security control to handle decks like the OTK variants, and we have stuff like the Buildstar Control that doesn't really do much against the Mother D Reaper, since they don't get the security attack +1, but they also need time to set up. So it influences the meta by having decks like Imperial and big like OTK decks that can outpace it, do better, and see more play. But it also makes them play more removal so that they can get rid of the Gatekeeper. You just have to look out for like Imperial Dramon. Like Imperial Dramon just absolutely hurts this deck. But you do very well against decks that need to set up, that gives you the time to set up to your Gatekeeper plays and does not hit your security at all. So that helps out a lot. This has been kind of like my little talk about the Mother D Reaper. I do see this deck doing a lot. I'm still playing around with it just to get more like familiar with the deck and seeing what I can actually do against the deck, so that I can actually play against the deck if I have to. The inclusion of the Death Xmon is so big for the deck, and I'm very happy about it. But on that, I think we're gonna stop it here today. I hope you guys enjoyed my little ramble on about the Mother D Reaper. If you guys want to show your support, make sure to leave a like down below if it does help us out. We're gonna get out of here, guys. Have yourself a fantastic Thursday afternoon, day, or evening, or whatever time of day you are hearing this mini podcast. I will catch you guys back on Tuesday. Until next time, guys. Later.